So I'm going to talk about the key to manifesting from your soul. So stop manifesting from your mind, because your soul, that's where the power lies. Your mind is focused on linear thinking and projection, which always factors in current external limitations instead of manifesting directly from the internal, from source. And if you're manifesting from the mind, you're probably going to be stuck in trying to work through obstacles. How do I get this to happen? How do I make this happen? Because your mind, it can't see the potential, it can't see the possibility. The inspiration for what you wanted, it probably came from your soul, and your soul has access to what's possible. I did a live stream on Carl Jung's methods for dream interpretation to access the unconscious mind, and some really interesting things came up in there, especially that dreams, which accessed the unconscious mind, could predict the future. And this is incredible because we know the conscious mind cannot do that. So the unconscious mind is that storehouse of intuition. It's where you can access brilliant truth and insight. It's where you have innate knowledge. You're not trying to figure it out. So if you really want to be powerful in your manifestations, manifest from that unconscious mind, that intuition from your soul. So when you're trying to make something happen from your mind, you can get stuck in protection mechanisms. You can have resistance to surrendering, which is really important. That's what you really need to let the impossible happen in your life. If you're stuck in your mind and your ego, that's where you can be trying to prevent the emotional purging that is coming up for you. Sometimes you do have limiting beliefs that were programmed into you just because of the society that we live in. And that's part of our purpose here, is that we are healing those wounds. We are facing that societal programming head on and feeling it within our bodies and working through it within our minds together. And we are creating new paradigms, new ways of living for ourselves. So why don't you go ahead right now, start imagining a scenario that you want, a scenario that if you feel into your heart, it's something that you deeply desire. And you can notice the mind coming up with obstacles, with reasons. If you stay anchored within your heart, within your soul, connected to the feeling that you're enjoying by imagining what you're imagining, that's going to help you to avoid the trap of getting into the pitfalls of the ego and of the mind. So the mind can bring up that evidence contrary to this narrative that you're playing out in your mind. So this is a delusional narrative, and that's okay, because we can be fully aware of what is real in our external reality while also creating this narrative within ourselves that is different. We don't have to try and force the external reality to match this internal narrative. So when you have that evidence coming up within you that is contrary evidence to what this narrative is that you're creating within yourself, let yourself experience that contrary evidence without resistance. Don't block or avoid it. Let any emotions come up that are triggered, feel through the emotions, and then completely forget about the contrary evidence. Treat it like a narcissistic ex or a narcissistic father, which is what I'm familiar with. You ignore it. Treat it as of no consequence. Don't get emotional about it beyond whatever emotions are triggered to be released. And I noticed that all the reasons why I was thinking, no, I can't think about having this thing that I want, was because I was afraid of not getting it. And what would it mean if I didn't get it? Then I wouldn't be valuable. So a lot of the resistance that I had to imagining this narrative was, I'm going to get hurt if I don't get what I want to get here. But I was using it as a way to stuff that void where there was this stronghold of an emotional wound, instead of letting that flood of emotions burst forth and let it be processed within myself and healed and released. So some of your objections, they can come about by trying to avoid feeling whatever's coming up for you. And if you're okay with feeling the hurt and the pain that's within you, then there's no problem. You can imagine whatever you want to imagine within yourself without pressuring anyone else to try and make it a reality for you, and enjoy that inner narrative, enjoy that inner story. Play a script in your mind that is so exciting and so delicious, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be something you play with and something you enjoy with. And through this, you can release whatever attachment you have to your external reality being a certain way. And you can live strongly attached and rooted within your soul, connected to your desire. And that is going to open your heart up to potentials and possibilities. Another really powerful tool that you can use is gratitude. Imagine something you really want or would love or be so grateful happening. Imagine it happening, and then feel the gratitude welling up within you. So this has to be a big enough thing for you to feel a lot of gratitude. But once you feel it and you feel that gratitude welling up within you, this is a cool little trick where it's almost as if you're rewriting your memories, but in the future. And you can do the same thing with the past. Let's say you're upset by certain scenarios or situations that you feel you missed out on in your life. You can go back and remember yourself having those experiences, thereby energetically rewiring and rewriting your past. So there's so much fun, there's so much possibility, there's so much potential here, and this can take you really quickly from a state of being anxious, worried, upset, angry, or bitter to a state of gratitude. And we know how powerful gratitude is. So give yourself the permission to play with this. And I hope you feel inspired about this as I do.